Okay, so here we have it. This man thinks that I was gonna hit him. I was gonna hit him coming out of that turn right there. Here he is. He circles around in the traffic. He circles around in traffic, coming back to me, thinking that he's gonna pull up on me and pull some bullshit.
That doesn't matter that you pulled a knife on me.
He then comes right here. You see, he's in the way. He's right here in the middle. He's in the middle. He's in the middle of the driveway, trying to stop me from leaving, which is in fact kidnapping by definition.
Oh, bro, get your stupid ass out of here.
See that? He hears his car. He hears his bike. Now he comes up in my face, and I push him back.
You come up in my face, man.
He comes up in my face.
Stand in front of me.
He comes up in my face. He comes up in my face. He comes up in my face. Yep, that's right. I have it right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that right there.
Such a liar, dude.
Look at that right there.
Such a liar.
See that? See that right there?
Stay for the cops to come.
He comes up in my face.
Stay for the cops to come and let's take care of this.
Yeah, okay.
If you're
whatever.
right, you can stay for the cops to come, right?
Hey, now I got this right here on camera,
Dude,
so they can come and get me.
Yeah, stay.
I got somebody here, and she's paying me.
Stay.
I just want to make sure I get this on camera.
Stay here.
But I have somebody here, and she's paying, so I gotta go.
No, dude, stay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but I want to get this on camera. There you are, right there, blocking the traffic.
No, you're blocking the traffic, retard. I'm in a fucking spot.
You're in the fucking driveway, dude. Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have your license plate.
Yeah, that's
she knows
right.
You're wrong, dude.
Yeah, that's right.
She knows you're fucking wrong.
There you go. Have a nice day. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. All right. So that's okay. Well, now that the rider isn't in the car anymore and I'm by myself, I can explain this out properly without any interruptions. First thing, I realized that even though the Galaxy S5 can record in 4K normally, I don't know if it's the OS or if it's the camera program, open camera, or what, but under pressure, under fire, this thing does not hold up. It's a default refresh rate, it's 4K, but yet you saw the quote-unquote video before this one here. That thing froze. I don't know if it needs more power to play. You know, I'm gonna see. I don't know, but it can't play back properly. It's not like it needs to buffer or anything, but it can't play back. Anyway, so this thing is now going to be from here on out at 720p, like 1080 by 720. It should be able to manage that, you know, without glitching or whatever. Anyway, moving on. What happened there? Okay. I pull out onto whatever street that was to turn left onto Massachusetts Avenue. Or I get to that street. I'm pulling out to turn left, thinking that I can finally have a clear shot to go. Keep in mind, I'm idling forward, so it's not more than like 3 to 5 miles an hour that I'm pulling out, looking. This guy comes past me, not speeding or anything, but he comes past me, and he starts yelling, "What the fuck, man?" And I'm like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with him? So I blow my horn, just and that's it, you know? And I guess he didn't like that too much because he slows down, lets the cars go in front of him, right? Lets the cars go in front of him, and then he circles around illegally, obviously, because it's a solid yellow line. He circles around, comes back up through the other cars. Right, and I see him do this, and I'm like, okay, so all right, let's see what this is all about. Let's see what business this is. So he comes up right to that. It's like a T intersection. It's not a four-way. It's a T intersection. He comes up. He starts looking at me, and I'm like, all right, so we're gonna play this game. All right, let's play this game. I finally get a chance to go. He starts pulling up as I'm going, as if he's trying to make me hit him so he can play victim. And keep that in mind for later. I, not realizing I'm supposed to turn, I turn sharply, which you know, hey, it's essentially a one way because the cars, no, not one way. It's essentially like a single lane because there were cars parked on the side. So it's not like I cut across oncoming cars. I cut across parked cars, right? So I cut across and I go to pick up the person that I'm supposed to pick up, right? And thank her for giving me her card, just in case he tries to say whatever, because she saw the vast majority. She saw and heard the vast majority. She saw everything. Hell, she was outside of the car when that happened, so she saw everything and she heard everything. So he comes around and I'm like, okay, well, let's do this. I get out of the car. Number one, to go and get her shit loaded into the car. Number two, to go and handle this motherfucker. And then I tell him, yo, what's up? And he's like, man, what the hell, man? You almost hit me. I'm like, how the hell did I almost hit you when I was going 5 miles an hour? I was going idle speed. How the hell did I almost hit you? Not only that, I slammed the brakes too, which I didn't even need to do. I could have just simply gently tapped on the brakes, but I slammed the brakes from idle speed. Like, I was nowhere near you. If I want to hit you, I could have, but going at the speed I was going at, I couldn't have hit you even if I did want to. And then he starts getting in my face, oh, man, blah, 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 blah. And I start like, look, man, you can get the hell on, all right? Because I'm not in the fucking mood right now. It's a bit too fucking early for this. It's already 11:08 while I'm recording this part, so that should happen sometime back, like maybe 30 or so minutes back. You can get the hell on, man. Take your piece of shit bike and get out of here. And then he starts going off. So I step to him and I get up in, like not even in his face. He's still sitting on his bike. But I step right next to him and be like, look, man, what the hell are you going to do? Are you going to try something? And then the girl that I'm picking up, she's like, man, you know what, man, forget him. Let's just go. This and that, this and that. And I didn't even realize she said that until like 30 seconds after. Like, it finally registered to me what she was saying. Right? But I'm like, look, man, what the fuck? Like, let's go. And he's like, what, man, you think I'm intimidated of you because of your size? Keep that in mind for later. You think I'm intimidated of you because of your size? I'm like, well, if you're not, let's go. Like, man, you're so fucking stupid. I could have a gun right now. And I'm like, I chuckled to myself. I'm like, hey, man, go ahead. If you got a gun, go ahead and use it. If you think that gun that you supposedly have, that you may or may not have, is going to help you at this close range where I am this close to you and I can grapple, go ahead and pull it. And at that point, once he realized I wasn't scared or backing down, he's like, man, you know what, man, get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah, okay, that's what I fucking thought. And then he gets off his bike and starts going at me some more. And then I start going at him. And at that point, I'm just like, you know what, man, fuck you. I'm leaving. So I go to get in my car. I go to pull the door open, and he goes and presses against the door. He goes and he starts taking pictures and stuff. Well, actually, I think a videotape. He starts taking a videotape of my car, front license plate, rear license plate, and all that stuff. He's there recording me as I'm trying to get in the car. And then he goes and pushes himself up against the car, trying to stop me from moving or from getting the car. And at that point, I push him way the hell back. I push him way the hell back. And at that point, he gets on the phone, calls the cops, and starts playing victim. Yeah, I was assaulted and blah, 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 blah. And he damaged my bike and I'd like to have a officer come down. I'm like, okay, go ahead and play that fucking game. See, because people have called the cops on me before. Numerous times. In fact, there was another video that I wanted to post up of this one. I go to pick somebody up, and in fact, I might post it at the end of this because I still have it somewhere here. All right, so as we now have it, I don't know what the hell is going on with this place, but I am simply here trying to pick up somebody, pick up a ride. I have a screenshot of it, and this lady right here with the kid next in the yellow shirt, she starts coming up asking me questions, And now we got people surrounding me. Apparently she's just called the cops. And so I'm going to sit here and wait and straighten these people out, because I don't know what the hell is their problem. I don't know if people aren't allowed in this neighborhood anymore or something, but this place hasn't been quarantined off, and I'm not trying to start a problem. I'm simply waiting for the person that I was called to come over here. And as far as I know, the cops are on the way, because I'm sitting here picking somebody up. You see, Uber, this is why you need to screen your riders. I don't know who those people are. I don't know who these people are. I am simply here picking someone up. And looks like we're going to have a problem. My very first ride today. This is going to be awesome. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not sure what their problem is, but this turned from me just simply waiting 5 minutes and then getting a cancellation fee into me now having to deal with the cops over some random shit that I have no idea about. Anyway, we'll see what goes on. All right. I go and pick somebody up, or try to pick somebody up. This woman in this area, the Chevy Chase Potomac types, she calls the cops on me because I wouldn't roll down my window and tell her what I'm doing there. And then I go and contact the person and tell them what's going on. They're like, was the person white? I'm like, yeah. Are all the people nearby you white? I'm like, yeah, except for this one half white, half black looking person. And she, sounding Spanish or Hispanic or whatever, she's like, yeah, that's what they do around that area to anybody who doesn't look like them. They call the cops for no reason. You know, so she calls the cops, not trying to divert or digress too much. She calls the cops, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? She already had her daughter, her little, I don't know, daughter, whatever the hell, go and take a picture of my license plate and shit. So it's going to look weird if all of a sudden I peel out of there after she claims she's calling the cops. So I have to sit here now. She's like, okay, well, can you cancel it? Because I'm trying to go to a gal. I'm like, all right, cool. So I sit there. Crowd starts forming. I'm sitting there waiting for the cops on my car with my shades on. Just looking cool, waiting, you know? And the cops took so damn long to get there that two things happened. Number one, everybody started leaving apart from her, and she eventually left to go walk some dogs or something. And number two, and Montgomery County Police Department, you can feel free to confirm this if you want. I call 911 back and I tell them, excuse me, I'm the person, I am at this address, and apparently somebody called the police on me because I wouldn't identify myself to them and tell them what I was doing in their neighborhood. But you know what, it's been over 20 minutes now and the cops still aren't here, so can you please tell them to hurry up, because I want to get this shit straightened out. They probably weren't expecting that shit to save their life. They weren't expecting me, black dude, who had the cops calling on, to call the cops back and tell them to hurry the fuck up and get here, because I got work to do. Okay? They finally get here. She starts going off on this cop, and he eventually goes and tells her, first he's like, okay, well, you can't force him to stay here. And I'm like, no, she didn't force me. I chose to stay here. I'm like, okay, well, thank you for doing, well, you didn't have to stay here. I'm like, no, but if I go and peel off the moment she claims that she's going to call the cops, that's going to look weird. And then she can say whatever the hell she wants, and I got nothing. And he's like, all right, well, thank you very much for staying. I'm like, yeah. And then I'm there talking with the cop, and she keeps interrupting and talking about, well, in my neighborhood, I mean, these people, all kinds of drug and this and that goes. Apparently, a whole bunch of cops were there and arrested a whole bunch of people in the very same house that I was supposedly picking somebody up out of. I don't know about any of that shit. I don't care, right? And so she calls the cops on me. I'm sitting there explaining it to him. so much to the point where I'm just sitting there quietly. Every time she interrupts, I stop because I'm not about to get into a talking over match with her. And then the cop starts talking to her, and it reached the point where he had to raise his voice and tell her, okay, if we're going to communicate, I need you to stop yelling at me, okay? And then she finally quieted down. I might splice that in at the end of this video. But back to this, because keep in mind the whole mentality of these kind of people, these types and kinds. Back to this guy, right? He starts playing victim. He said, oh, he pulled a knife on me and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And you heard him like, okay, if you think you're right, stay here for the cops. I'm like, look, man, I'd love to stay here, but I got this person in the car. They're paying, so I got to go. But you know what? You got all my information. You got me on camera. Have them come get me. I mean, hell, it can't be hard to find. Run my fucking plate, see who it's registered to. You have my address. It's on file. Come get me. I guarantee you they're not going to, because they don't have anything. This guy has no proof of any of his claims, right? As far as I know, his bike was already damaged, and he's looking for somebody to pin it on so that he doesn't have to pay for it, right? Because I pushed him into his bike. I pushed him away so that I could leave. He's trying to stop me, which is, I believe, kidnapping by definition, right? At least legal definition. I'm trying to leave, and he's stopping me from being able to leave. I push him back. His bike didn't even fall over. His bike broke his fall, essentially, but it didn't even fall over. So as far as I know, that shit could have been broken from the start. Anyway, he goes into full victim mode, and I make sure that I say, because I know it's being recorded, and I heard the dispatcher say, okay, I need you guys to stop arguing. I go and make sure to say, I am going to leave now, and if you try to stop me again, it will be kidnapping by definition. I am going to try to leave now. I'm going to get in my car and try to leave. I'm going to go up that driveway, turn around, and come back down. And if you stand in the way, in the driveway, bad enough your bike is already in the way. If you stand in the way to try to stop me, that will be considered kidnapping. And I made sure to say that right by his phone so that that's on record, right? And at that point, I saw in his face that he knew that I was not the one to mess with, because I know how to say certain words as well so that I can sit here and be justified in what I do, okay? Because at that point, like, I was ready to simply choke this guy out, like literally fucking chokehold. If he tried to stop me from leaving again, I was literally going to put him to fucking sleep. And maybe even hold that shit on a little bit longer. So I let him know, and I say certain key words that are used against black people. I say certain key words to let him know, yo, I can play this game with you. And so I try to leave, but then I stop and I record that little video showing, okay, look where his bike is in the way. I'm picking somebody up. I'm leaving. And you know what? My car was in the street, but you know what? Hey, as far as they're concerned, it could have been an accident, and we're exchanging insurance information, so they can go around. And they could go around, and they did go around. So it's not like I was blocking traffic completely so that traffic could not move. Cars, both sides were able to go around me, so whatever, right? He starts playing victim. Ah, damn, these pollen. And then he sees the girl in the back, and he's like, and he starts saying to her, what, are you going to talk for him? What is this, a black thing or something? And that's what I said. Remember I said keep that in mind for later? That's how I knew, okay, I'm dealing with a white supremacist here. This guy, okay, like, is it a black thing? Like, he went and asked her, see, you seen this, right? And she went and said something, and then he went and said, see, even she knows I'm right. And she immediately goes and corrects him, like, I didn't say all that. I just simply said this, and that. I didn't say that you were right. So I knew his angle at that point. And then remember in the video when he said, no, stay here for the cops. Stay here and we'll see the cops. I really would have loved to, but I wasn't about to ask her if she could stay, because I didn't want to lose the trip. But I'm like, and I had somebody else picking up actually. But I'm like, you know what? Let me not even do that this time. I should have stayed, because I knew this guy had nothing that he could get me with. He has no proof that I did any of what he said, right? He has no proof that I destroyed his bike. His bike was not destroyed. And I didn't even touch his bike once. Even he admitted that to the dispatcher, I believe. Right? His bike could have been already destroyed, and he's trying to fucking put it on me so I pay for it, you know? So I wanted to cancel the ride, but she was already in the car at that point, and I'm just like, fuck, you know? So my thing is, he's like, okay, no, stay here for the cops. Stay here, man. No, stay here. The reason why he's saying that is because he went into full victim mode, and what he's expecting is that the cops are going to come here and start blasting away and kill me. That is what he was expecting. And honestly, I should have stayed to let him know, no, that shit doesn't work in this area. In this area where every whore on the street is some senator's son, is some congressman's daughter, every vagrant on the street is some senator's son. Cops have no idea who the hell they're messing with, who might know who or have access to who. All that shit does not quite work around here. So the cops are not just going to come up and start blasting away. Not around here. I don't care where they came from. There's too much to lose around here for that to happen. Okay? And that's what this low-class, low-IQ fucking idiot doesn't quite realize. Every vagrant on the street is some senator's son. Every whore on the street is some congressman's daughter. These cops don't know who to mess with and who not to. Okay? That's why I'm halfway not too worried about the cops around here. I'm really not. Just in this area, though, right? If it was Mississippi or something, then I'd be like, okay, or Wyoming or some shit. But around here, not quite all that worried. So that is what he was expecting. I don't know where the hell he's from, because if he's from around here, he would know that that shit wouldn't be happening. Like, cops don't just come blasting around in the DC metro area. Especially in DC. I mean, maybe Southern Virginia, I don't know where, Southern Virginia, but around here, not quite. You know, God forbid it's some black cops that came. You know, that's not, okay. He doesn't quite realize that. So he's playing victim thinking, okay, well, you know what, time for you to die, nigger. Obviously he didn't say that, but he might as well have with the way he was going off. And he didn't quite realize that shit's not going to work. So I wish I could have stayed and had it on recording his face when he realized that I'm not getting arrested. I'm not getting killed. He has no proof of any of the things that he went and said on the dispatch, said to the dispatcher, and that they have no reason to arrest me, and that if they try to arrest me, they could end up getting fucking sued. And they're not about to risk it for some, whatever the fuck, I mean, I could get into how he looks, but they're not about to risk that for him. So, you know, like, this is the thing. Like, black people, when you deal with people like that, know certain words to say, and make sure you, and when they start playing victim and calling the cops, you make sure you say right there so the dispatcher can hear certain things to let them know, okay, to let everyone know, like, okay, this person knows a thing or two. So let's not just treat him like some nigger, okay? Let's tread carefully with this one. Say certain things. I mean, you hear what these white supremacists say when they get on the phone. I felt in fear of my life. This and that. He seems suspect. You start saying certain things as well. Not anything that's going to make you look like some scared little bitch, but certain things to let it be like, hey, if I defend myself, here's the reason why I did it. I am going to leave now, and if you try to stop me again, it will constitute kidnapping. You are trying to prevent me from leaving against my will, and I will defend myself so I can do that. There you go. That's on record. And then whatever happens, happens. Right? At least you have that there so that it puts in people's minds, okay, this person tried to leave. And, well, we didn't see what happened, but he did say he wanted to leave. You could have just let him leave, and that was it. Especially since it's on videotape, you know, you can see, like, hey. But anyway, that's what happened. I come out. He goes by me. He circles around, comes up. All that shit starts. And then he starts playing victim. After he gets all my information, well, not information, he starts taking a picture of my stuff and all that. I try to leave. He presses himself up against the door, preventing me from being able to open the door to get in. I push him back, and that's when he goes on I push him back onto his bike, and that's when he starts playing victim, calling the cops. I've been assaulted. I've been assaulted. Yeah, okay. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that was self-defense because I felt in fear of my life. He got off his bike. He came up to me. I'm trying to leave. He's preventing me from leaving. I felt in fear of my life. I was feeling super duper scared. Super dilly duper scared. I felt scared. I felt in fear of my life. And so, in self-defense, I launched that motherfucker. What's got to be a good 3 feet. 2-3 feet. With a hand that was pretty much already halfway stretched out. So I didn't even get proper torque or horsepower on it anyway. Still launched his ass 3 feet. So, you know, there's that. Or more, actually, maybe. Whatever. So, black people, know certain words to say and make sure that the dispatcher and the cops hear it. Right? No, or the dispatcher that's recording it. Know certain words to say when you're dealing with these white supremacists so that if you end up having to blast them, so if you end up having to go at them, it's going to be easier to claim self-defense considering the aggressive tactics that they're taking or aggressive stances that they're taking. Hey, feel in fear of your life, man. Stand your ground and all that shit. Anyway, back to making money. Later. Right, so, very interesting thing happened following the events of yesterday. It's now the day after, but yesterday. Obviously not the events that I spliced in of that woman with her dumbass daughter, but the events of that idiot with the bike. It's now, I guess, a couple minutes over, maybe 24 hours since that's happened. I am still here. I haven't been arrested. You know, cops have not come. If they were coming, they would have probably came already, or, since this happened in D.C. and I live in Maryland, gotten Maryland cops to come here and escort me to D.C. where whatever the hell. But nobody's knocked on my door. The very interesting that knock. Cops seem to have a knock on the door, a way of knocking on the door that nobody else seems to be able to mimic. I don't know. I gotta find one of them and ask them how they do it. They're probably gonna laugh at me or something, but when they knock on the door, they don't even have to say police or officers open up. You can just tell it's some cops there, you know? Cops at least, God forbid, FBI or SWAT team or some shit. But even if you've never had cops at your door, that knock, you can tell it's some cops and some shit's about to go down, or something's up, or some shit's about to go down. Anyway, none of that happened, so here I am. Now, the interesting thing about this is, very interesting thing about this, is that I actually signed up for lyft a couple days back, maybe a week or so back at this point, right? And so the reason for that is because there was too much downtime in Uber every now and then, and I wanted to just work the hours, keep the rides coming, And that's that, right? But the interesting thing about this is that that thing happened at what, like 12? No, about 10 something in the morning. That thing happened. And I didn't check this until later, but I get this thing from Lyft, and I only got to, oh, one other thing. I stopped early that day. I didn't even, because the rides were low and taking forever to get there. And even with both of them on, going full power, Lyft and Uber, I only got two rides. One Lyft ride of two rides, and then a second Lyft ride, which would be the equivalent of Uber X, and that was it for Lyft that entire day. Uber wasn't much better, so it was just a bad day all around. But yeah, it's only two rides, only two rides, and I get this thing from Lyft, and apparently it hit my email at 6/12/2018 at 12:25 p.m. Okay, I mean, it says, quotes, "Hi, my name. Lyft is investigating a potential violation of our community guidelines and terms of service. According to policy, I've placed your driver account on hold while we investigate. The safety of our community is our top priority. During this time, you will be unable to drive on the Lyft platform. I know this is a difficult situation, but it's Lyft's policy to investigate all reports we receive. Our trust and safety team will be in touch with you soon regarding this investigation. If you have any additional details to provide, please do so directly in response to this email. This will ensure that our trust and safety team receives your response. Best, Lee, Lyft support representative." Okay. And of course, I respond back to this asking, okay, what exactly did I do? And yeah, what exactly did I do? And I haven't heard back from them now. It is now 11:58 a.m. on the 13th, and I haven't heard back from them. And I thought that I would have heard back from them sooner because, unlike Uber, who has customer support people in India with the most Anglo-sounding names you can find, and last time I checked, Todd isn't exactly a standard issue Indian name. You know what I mean? Uh, Unlike Uber, Lyft actually has people that speaks English. English is the native language. They speak English. They probably here in the U.S. and they get back to you fairly quickly. Okay, but that was not the case here. I'm like, all right, you know what? Fine, Lyft. Lyft does pay better out here because apparently in everything north of Rockville, I believe, is considered Western Maryland according to Lyft, but everything south of Clarksburg is considered DC metro area according to Uber. Okay. Lyft actually pays a bit better. Lyft pays a bit better. But I'm like, you know what? The trips with Lyft aren't really that frequent as much as I mean, they are, but not as much as I'd expect and as much as I'd like, especially compared to Uber. So, you know, whatever, fine. Fine, go do whatever you want. I got Uber here. Okay, man, I did Uber for the rest of the day because I tried to turn on Lyft and at about 1 o'clock and noticed that was going on. I'm like, all right, fine, fuck it. Well, I got Uber. Uber alone before I even started Lyft was what I've been doing for the past 2.5 years. Um, you know, from even before I left that other job, that cybersecurity job, and then after that, Uber is all I've been doing, and I've been able to pay for everything. So, you know, fine. I'll just go back to my standard issue formula that I know works. Okay. So, you know, I end early and I head home. And I go to look on the Uber app, the driver app, to see tomorrow. Let me plan out tomorrow because today was a bust. I didn't really make too much money. Let me start off strong and start off early tomorrow. At 6/12/2018, same day, at 7:51 p.m., this thing hits my email and I get a notice from Uber. "Hi, my name. We are investigating a report from a recent trip. I wonder what that recent trip is, considering. I'll get to it later. Your account has been placed on hold while we look into this report. Please note this investigation can only be completed by a member of our incident response team and cannot, in bold, be handled by a Greenlight Hub location. Thank you for your patience while we look into this matter. You should expect to hear from a member of our team soon. Sent by Queenie. June 12th. Sent Tuesday, June 12th. Same day at 11:50 p.m. Okay, that must be maybe Pacific time or some other time. It couldn't have been because I got this at 7:51 p.m. on the same day. So that kind of time travel is not quite possible yet. So, long and short of it is, I have been deactivated, or not even deactivated, suspended, because I can still log in and everything, but suspended, put on hold, suspension, from both Uber and Lyft. Even though when that when that altercation with that biker happened, it happened while I was using Lyft and Uber was completely off. Here it is, I'm suspended from Uber as well. Neither one of them give me any details. And I wish I had a direct, well, I mean, hell, you've seen it from the other videos. You've seen my ratings and stuff. Right now, as it's actually, let me try to pull that one up. From a couple of days ago. Like maybe 3 or 4 days ago. Let's see if this thing can focus. See that? 4.94 out of 5. And if you notice, 5 stars was at 96%. It's actually at 95 as of yesterday. And 4 stars was at 4%, which has now raised to 5 as of yesterday. No 3, 2, or 1 stars well, it goes by 500. So for every 500 trips, that's what this rating is. So in the last 500 trips, I have not gotten below 4 stars, and I've had 95%. No, 500 rated trips, right? As far as Uber goes, in the last 500 rated trips, 95% of them, as of yesterday, before I got suspended, were 5 stars, and 4% of them were 4 stars. Now, if I had a problem in the last 500 rides, which, let's see now, I can do regular 20 rides a day. Maybe less if it's a sluggish day. Like yesterday, I think I only did like maybe 8 or 9 rides, right? 20 rides a day, 25 if I'm really going, 30 if I go from like 4 a.m. in the morning straight until 4 a.m. the next day. Like it's just, I don't know what it is, but the most I've ever done in one day was 36 rides throughout the DC metro area. Most of it was DC, and I said never again to that shit. Right, but point is, if I had a problem in the last 500 rides, it would have shown up here, and this deactivation would have happened earlier. So the fact that both of them decide to deactivate me on the same day, and I mean, not really at the same time, I don't think, but on the same day, and it just happened to be the same day that this shit happened, is quite interesting. Now, as far as Lyft goes, well, maybe that girl complained. Yeah, but then she also offered me her card and essentially was like, hey, man, if he tries to say anything, like say anything that didn't happen, man, I got your back, you know what I mean? Because I saw the whole thing. So I don't think she would have. But let's just write that off as why Lyft went down. Why did Uber go down? 2.5 years I've been driving with them now. I have a 4.94 rating. I mean, you just saw it. I mean, yes, this is a screenshot from like 3 or so days ago, but that hasn't really changed much from then until now. I've gotten more comments, you know, more positive comments, few more badges. The one that I have the most of is customer service. I kind of figured clean car would have been the one that I have the most of, considering how so many riders complain about drivers' cars smelling like ass and toe jam and locker rooms and shit. Joe's Crab Shack, Red Lobster, and all that. But the one thing that most everybody, especially women, but most everybody compliment me on is, oh my God, it smells great in here. It smells so great. I have one of those little 60-day oil scented. Mm, Forgot what kind of cherry, but some kind of cherry flavor that just sits there in the car, and you know. And then of course the car is always clean. You've seen that other video. Get the car cleaned inside and out every day. Okay. Customer service is the number one thing that I have the most badges for. I forgot how many it was, but it's a lot, more than any other one. Point is, I've been deactivated from both of them. Well, I don't know how long they're going to take to get to me. Honestly, I don't care. I have an interview tomorrow. And unlike many of the other interviews I've had, this one is actually at a company that I really wouldn't mind working for. It gets me back into the security field. Maybe not directly cybersecurity per se, but close enough. So I'm not really worried about any of this. And to tell the truth, once they do their investigation and realize that, I'd really like to know what Uber's own was, because it's an incident from a recent trip. I have had no problems with anybody. I don't deal with the drunk people anymore, so it's not like some drunk person went and remembered, oh, he went and did this to me or whatever. So I'd really like to know what that is. But in either case, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not worried about it. And even when they finally reinstate my account, whenever that may be, because I've seen other people that have deactivated accounts and it takes them forever to get to it, I might not drive for them anymore. I really might not. In fact, I probably won't, because for them to not be able to tell me exactly what, like right up, somebody made some accusation of something, okay? It wasn't, in the case of Lyft, the one thing I will say about them is that when I looked online, something about Maryland TNC, whatever the hell that is, some kind of license, it didn't have the green check mark like it used to. It had like a clock basically saying it was pending or processing or something. So that seemed a bit suspicious to me. As far as Uber is concerned, when I called them up and I talked to their customer service in India, they said that my account looked fine. I looked online. My account is fine. Everything is active. Everything is green. All the documentation is there. So that's quite interesting. But again, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to go do this interview, see if I get this job. If I don't get the job, I'll figure something else out. Look through my phone, see who owes me some favors. Plus, my girl's here. She has my back. But yeah, let's just say that this is the end of Uber for me. Okay, Uber and Lyft. Lyft didn't last too long, right? Really, the only thing that I'm actually happy about this whole experience is that I got the knowledge to fix cars and to do my own maintenance and repairs that I otherwise probably wouldn't have gotten, and would have probably still sat there and kept paying out money to mechanics for stuff. Now, the only thing I pay them for is flushes. That's it. Fluid flush, transmission and stuff. That's probably one of the biggest takeaways that I get, and they can't suspend that knowledge, So I'm pretty happy about that. I could get into the companies themselves and how badly they do certain things, especially how badly they handle riders. Not riders, drivers. How badly they treat drivers and how much they treat riders like gods. And it's like, for whatever you want to say about, well, the riders, they're the ones paying. It's like, yeah, nothing works if you don't have any drivers. Your self-driving car bullshit is just that bullshit. I mean, how many people has it killed now? Right? Are you all facing more lawsuits from that shit? And it's just prototypes, too. It's not like you've perfected it and then something went wrong. Like, people don't seem to realize that if you want quality, you're going to have to pay for it. And I'm probably the best quality driver you're going to get for the bullshit that you all are paying us. As far as rates. I managed to make it work. Okay, fine. But if you want, I mean, the amount of complaints riders might have of dirty cars or drivers that might suck or something, it's like, well, what do you expect for essentially dollar store rates? You know, there's a reason why the cab companies really, I guess, have no excuse for the amount that they're charging. But there's a reason why those cab companies charge what they charge as far as for maintenance and all that stuff and licensing and all this and all that. You know? And you all are doing away with all that, and yet you still expect quality. And then, of course, when you get quality, 4.94 rating, got every single badge, customer service is the most I've gotten, got a whole bunch of favorable comments. You've seen them from my other videos, from what I'm pretty sure is girls telling me how hot I am to beautiful car to whatever the hell, you know. The vast majority of my riders are, in fact, women, I think. So, probably not gonna, even if I do get my accounts reactivated, probably not gonna drive for them again. I'm gonna see if I get this job. If I do, great. If I don't, do something else. Well, I'm glad that I no longer have to waste $400 or spend, waste $400 on gas each month. Actually, how much is it that I'm spending? Gas. 6 days at $20 a day. That doesn't account for the adjusting price of gas, so I get less in the summer months. But $480 a month in gas. At $20 a day for gas, putting 20 bucks 6 days a week. Glad that's over. Probably going to get rid of that Germantown Auto Spa thing, because do I really need to have my car washed every single day and clean inside and out every single day? Well, I'm not doing any of this ride-sharing bullshit anymore. Something tells me I can detail my car out and it's going to stay clean, you know? And then the outside, wash that shit once a week. Okay. So, yeah. That's the end of this. I do not see myself going back. I don't really care about these investigations. And that's that. As far as Uber goes, the only thing I can think of with them why this happened is because a couple of days back, maybe two at most 3 days back, this old couple, I had dropped them off somewhere, and they wanted to keep going, like pick somebody else up and keep going. And this old guy, his wife was dying from whatever, I don't know what the hell was wrong with her lungs, but she was like hacking up stuff. So I dropped them off, and you know, they were trying to figure out, oh, how can they add another ride and stuff like that. And I don't use the Rider app, so you know, there's that. So I have no idea. But then I get another response, like another ping, and it was the last ping that I needed, the last ride I needed before I got the bonus, and then I could go home. So I'm like, shit, fuck it. So I accepted that, and then I tell them, oh, I'm sorry, but you know, I got another ride. They're like, oh, that's fine, because we don't know where this person is we're picking up anyway. We don't know what house it is. We know it's around here, so we can't hold you up. And they understood. Great. Got my last ride, then I went home after I got that bonus. I get a call back from them when I was getting some gas to go home, and they say, hey, it appears my wife lost her wallet or left her wallet in your car. And I'm thinking, oh shit, here we go. So I look in the back of my car, I see no wallet anywhere. And I'm like, well, I already just picked up some people, a group of people, and transported them and finished that ride, so chances are they have it. You know, they saw that thing in there, and if there was any money in there, there's that too. But that thing is not here, and my car isn't. There's not exactly any places in the back of the car to hide that thing, you know. So checked under the seats, checked everywhere, not there. And he is like, oh, well, I guess there's nothing that can be done now. That is the only thing that I could possibly think of. Possibly think of. As far as why Uber is doing an investigation. But then again, I'm like, let's see now. I have two umbrellas that are there. Somebody left a really shitty, generic, cheap Chinese iPhone charger cable. People leave stuff in my car all the time, but my account doesn't get deactivated over that. You know, in this case, that is the one and only thing I can think of because nobody else reported any kind of problems. And that wasn't even a problem that, oh my God, they had a problem with me or something. They left something they should have checked. You know, she did leave me a tip though, so that was nice. She did write me a tip, and again, no 1 star. It would have came up here 1, 3, 2, or 1. It would have came up there. No 1 star, no negative. So the ease at which drivers can get fucked up and fucked over, I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. So yeah, I've had enough of it. Anyway, that's it. Last Uber video. That's it. Later.